The X Zone radio and TV show is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X Zone radio and TV show or in any manner endorsed by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, Talkstar Radio Network, its affiliated stations, or employees.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
You doing that thing you do, breaking my heart into a million pieces, like you always do. And you don't mean to be cruel, you never even knew about the heartache I've been going through. Well, I try to forget you, girl, but it's just so hard to do. Every time you do that thing you do.
And welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, and for the next 4 hours, I'm your host and your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern on the Talkstar Radio Network, X Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio, Euro High Definition, Star Cable, and our growing family of broadcast affiliates right across the world, starting in Canada, the United States, the Caribbean, Central America, South America, the Pacific Rim, Asia, Africa, and Europe. Worldwide toll-free 1-800-610-7035. Email xzone at xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv at hotmail.com. And our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. My first guest tonight, X Zone Nation, is in South Africa. Her name is Josephine SLABBERT. We're going to be talking about constant fear, constant pain, why abused children blame themselves. X Zone Nation, Josephine grew up in a house full of drug addicts, rapists, thieves, and pimps. She was raped multiple times, lived in constant fear, suffered physical abuse, and was forced to deal drugs. Her abusive husband was embarrassed by her race. It's a nightmare, life like none of us can ever imagine, but similar stories happen all over the world. Now, who can a child turn to when his or her own parents are abusers? The younger they are when the abuse starts, the more likely a child will blame himself or herself. Josephine is the author of a groundbreaking book entitled, Is There Anybody Out There? It's a memoir of abuse and triumph. Joining me now from South Africa is Josephine SLABBERT. And Josephine, welcome to the X Zone.
It's my pleasure and an honor to be on your show, and I'm so grateful and honored that you have asked me to be your guest on the show. Thank you very much.
Tell me, what was your inspiration for writing your book?
My inspiration for writing this book is, I have lived in constant fear for so many years, and I've constant wondered about my children's safety and security. I'm a mother of 5 daughters, and seeing them growing up in almost the same environment as I grew up, it inspired me to write this book to the young girls that is out there that has gone through the same abuse that I've gone through, and my children inspired me to write this book. It was time.
It was time. Statistics are just unbelievable when you go through the different United Nations agencies and the different law enforcement agency statistics of governments to see the amount of abuse that children are subjected to these days. It's just unbelievable. You and I have to take a 2-minute commercial break. Josephine, please stand by. X Zone Nation, our guest this hour is Josephine SLABBERT. And the name of her book is There Anybody Out There? A Memoir of Abuse and Triumph. It's available at Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and other fine internet book resellers. All you have to do is just Google in the name of her book, or you just Google Josephine SLABBERT. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone. Josephine and I will be back on the other side of this 2-minute commercial break as we continue talking about constant fear, constant pain, why abused children blame themselves. 1-800-610-7035 worldwide toll free. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com and on MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com. We'll be back on the other side of this 2-minute commercial break. Don't go away.
She walks to school with a lunch she packed. Nobody knows what she's holding back. Wearing the same dress she wore yesterday. She has the bruises with a linen and lace. Oh. Teacher wonders, but she doesn't ask. It's hard to see the pain behind the mask, bearing the burden of a secret storm.
X Zone Nation, my guest this hour is Josephine SLABBERT. She is a survivor of a lifetime of child and domestic abuse. She is speaking out on normally taboo subjects to help others who suffer realize that they are not alone. Josephine currently lives in South Africa, runs a soup kitchen for her community, and has cared for more than 100 refugee children from war-torn countries. And God bless you for that, Josephine. She is now happily married and the mother of 5 children. Josephine is the author of Is There Anybody Out There? A Memoir of Abuse and Triumph. Her book is available at authorhouse.com, amazonuk.com, barnesandnoble.com, waterstone.com, sonyreaders.com, Google edition. Let me see, and the list goes on and on. All you have to do is just Google her name in any search engine, and it's Josephine SLABBERT, SLABBERT. And Josephine, thanks again for being with us. Tell us a little bit about your life.
My life started off very rocky. From the time I could see and thought, Mama was 6 years old when I was abused from my stepfather. My mother was a drug addict. My abuse carried on from 6 years old to 19 years old. And from that abuse came 2 children. My eldest daughter and my second eldest daughter came from that abuse. I could never tell my mother the truth. My mother was constantly using drugs. She was always abusing me physically. And the fear of telling her, I couldn't bear telling her because I was under her abuse. So I didn't know how she was going to react if I tell her. And she was so in love with the guy, so it would have made things worse for me at the end of the day. What's supposed to have been my happiest time at school turned out to be a nightmare when the abuse started from my stepfather. My mother could never see the abuse because she was constantly so drugged up, trying to teach me how to sell drugs at such a young age. I mean, you started school at 6 years old. You come home with a picture drawing from your classroom, and you want to show your mother your pretty picture, and you couldn't, And her motto in the house was, "You're going to learn how to sell drugs because this is our livelihood." And that was basically how I grew up. And when I was 16 years old, I fell pregnant from my stepfather. I didn't know how to handle it. My mother never knew that I was pregnant at that time. I could only tell her was when I was almost 8 months pregnant. I said, Mom, there's something I need to tell you. I'm pregnant. And couldn't tell her with the father, so I had to lie to save myself. And then when my daughter was born, that's when the trauma just hit me. From there, it just escalated. My stepfather kept on abusing me. I had to sell drugs for them. Playing with your friends was not an option for me. If I played with my friends, I had to play with all these drugs stacked up under my clothes. And every time she would call me and she would say, "Come now in the house." And I knew that time when she called me, it was time to deliver the drugs to her. And the school became a place of escape. It wasn't a place for me to where I can get educated. It was a place just for me to escape from home. When I fell pregnant with my eldest daughter, I left school. I had no choice. Things just went from bad to worse. I tried one suicide attempt, which failed. When I fell pregnant with my second child, I had to get out. I had to find some place just to get out of this. So I went to a shelter that looks after people, that care for the needy and the destitute people. And I got shelter there and stayed there for quite a long time. And there's where I met my ex-husband. Got married. He was the perfect gentleman at that time until we got married. And after that, it was the racism, abuse, the physical abuse from him. And we eventually left Cape Town and we went to stay in the Eastern Cape, far from my mother. I left my children with my mother. I couldn't face my children any longer, knowing the secret that I carried all these years of the abuse and that. And here I found myself from one abusive to another abusive relationship. It just went bad. I never knew a person can get so abused. It was just beyond my mind. I couldn't comprehend it.
Were you ever hospitalized because of any of the injuries that you sustained as a child?
I could not go to hospital. The only time I saw a doctor is when my mother beat me up and took me to the doctor herself. That's the only time I saw a doctor through my mother's physical abuse. At that time when a doctor sees you and they know that I had to lie for her. I had to constantly protect her also at the same time, because as much as she was abusing me, I didn't want her to get into any trouble for what she's doing to me.
She was still your mother, and you were protecting her even though she was abusing you.
Although she was abusing me, I protected her from the law, because I didn't want to lose her as my mother too. I had no father.
Certainly.
My father was never in my life, and my grandmother's old, and I didn't want to lose my mother at the same time, too.
What was your family's reaction to you going and saying, I'm going to write a book? I'm going to spill the beans. I'm going to tell everyone what happened.
I first had to speak to my two daughters about it, because they are just as much as I was the victim of the abuse. They were just as part of it, in a sense of they didn't know that this man that they called Grandpa is their father. So I had to first clear the channels with him, and after clearing with them and talking to them about what I'm about to do and asking their permission first, they gave me the heads up. They said, you know what, Mom, go for it. There's so many girls that you can help and so many girls that you can encourage through your story. And I don't think I would have been able to have done it if I didn't have the support of my family, and they supported me. My husband just loved me through this, and it was a real journey for me to write that book.
How did you feel as you were writing and reliving the experiences that had scarred you so heavily, so deeply?
Oh, when I started off, it was just, it's like going into yourself, opening that wound, and just basically cleaning it out. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare for me to do it, to go into myself. It's like reliving it and putting it on paper as I'm reliving it. It was very emotional. There was times when I was writing and my mind was just racing, and I couldn't concentrate. I would just put my computer down, walk around the house or walk up and down in the house, trying to just think of something positive and of something good before I went back writing the chapter that I was on. It was a very emotional thing for me to write this book. It comes from my heart. It was heartbreaking, but at the same time, I was healing at the same time writing it. And I can just say it was a emotional journey for me to write this book.
Exonation, our special guest this hour is Josephine SLABBERT. She is the author of a book that is based on her life. It's entitled, Is There Anybody Out There? A Memoir of Abuse and Triumph. It's available at authorhouse.com, amazon.com, Barnes & Noble. And she's talking to us this afternoon from her home in South Africa. Josephine, you and I have to take a commercial break. We'll be back on the other side. Please stand by. Exxon Nation, as I said, Josephine is our guest. We're talking about constant fear, constant pain. Why abused children blame themselves. And there's no reason for anyone to be abused financially, physically, or mentally. If you are being abused, if you know someone who is being abused and they need your help, give it to them. But if you are getting abused, there are many venues that you can seek out for help. There are people there who will help you. Your doctor, your minister, your religious leader, the police. Those 3 magic numbers, 911. We'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news as the X Zone continues, right here from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. My name is Rob McConnell. Don't go away. You're listening to the X Zone Radio Show, live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network, X Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio, Euro High Definition Radio, and Star Cable. Our toll-free telephone number worldwide is 1-800-610-7035. Our email address, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com.
Try to understand, try to understand, try to understand. I'm a magic man.
I hear the drums echoing tonight, and she hears only whispers of some quiet conversation. She's coming in 12:30 flight. The moonlit wings reflect the stars that guide me towards salvation. I stopped an old man along the way, hoping to find some old forgotten words or ancient melodies. He turned to me as if to say, hurry boy, it's waiting there for you. Gotta take the life to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men
1-800-610-7035 worldwide toll free. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour is Josephine SLABBERT. We're talking about her book, Is There Anybody Out There? A Memoir of Abuse and Triumph. All right, so you've talked to your two daughters, and you explained to them what the real story was, that their grandfather was actually their father. I'm sure that it was a very heartfelt conversation that you had with them. You wrote the book. There were times when you were struggling because you were reliving all those times, all that abuse, all those horrible memories that you had tried so hard to bury. The book is written. What happens? What is the reaction of the perpetrators that you had mentioned in your book?
Well, the perpetrators, they, while I obviously left my ex-husband, haven't been in contact with him for a very, very long time. My stepfather, while him and my mother is, believe it or not, still together.
Holy cow.
Yes. Well, I have learned, when I spoke to my children, I'm a born-again Christian now, and that made it so easy to forgive him. I would have never have done that if it wasn't for my faith in God that strengthened me to forgive him, because I held this grudge in my heart for so long. I could never become what I wanted to become. I always wanted to be a magistrate. That was my dream, that I wanted to be a magistrate, and I could never become one because of what happened. I blamed my mother, I blamed him, and I blamed myself. The worst thing was I blamed myself for what had happened to me, and my faith in God made it easy for me to forgive him of what he has done to me, although he never sat down with me and said, I'm sorry, forgive me what I've done. I forgave him, and the perpetrator, he didn't say much when he heard that I wrote this book. There wasn't much for him to say. He had to accept it. At the end of the day, I was the victim in this book, and yeah, he accepted it that I wrote the book about him and what has happened, what he has done to me, and we haven't spoken about it, actually sat down to speak about it, just through the grapevine, hearing from my children when they speak to him. You know, they would tell me, no, he said that I had a lot of courage writing this book, and I think he feels more guilty of what he has done to me now. But I have no ill feelings to him. I have no grudge against him. I had to forgive him for my sake and for my children's sake, because at the end of the day, although they knew what he has done to me, they still accept him as their father, and they respect him. I marvel at to see how my children still respect him, knowing what he has done to their mother. I really honor them for that, for doing that. I have a relationship with the perpetrator as far as the bond between the relationship he has with the children, but I respect him. I don't see much of them because I stay very, very far from them. So I see them maybe twice a year, and when I do see him, I speak to him with respect, which I could never do before. So there is a bit of a balance there.
The people who have read your book, do they contact you and do they share stories with you? Do they thank you for having the courage to bring this dirty secret from out of behind closed doors into the public so that it can be once and for all addressed, and that do they understand that they have nothing to shame, that they were victims, not the reason why it happened?
You know, I was surprised at the response that I got from the people that read my book. I got these encouraging messages. They would say, "Wow, Josephine, you know, we really have such great respect for you, and we honor you for coming out with your story." And you will be surprised through how many people has gone through almost something similar to that. And
really,
by reading that book, it made them felt more bold to come out with their own stories. And it was a real encourager for me to know that it has served the purpose. It has done something to them. It has made them feel that they are not to blame. They are not alone in this. I thought for many years I was the only child on this earth that is going through this thing, until I met with people that went through the same thing, and that also gave me the courage to come out, and I felt secure to come out. I felt safe to come out. And that's where a lot of children, that's what a lot of children need. They just need to feel safe to come out. If it's with a teacher, if it's with a pastor, they just need to feel that safety to come out with their story. And I'm so glad that this book has done that for so many readers.
You know, we're talking about the children, and you know, it's, you know, I'm a dad, I'm a grandfather, and I cannot fathom ever harming a child. I used to be in the police force, and I used to see child abuse. And nothing gave me a greater sense of accomplishment than throwing somebody in jail and making sure that they were incarcerated, they were held accountable for their crime, and that they were going to get the help that they needed. But it's also society's obligation to make sure a child is never put into this type of situation, and that if a child is, that they receive the proper care and treatment that they're going to need, because the psychological damage that is done to a child in an abusive situation, and as well as the physical, you know, people who live outside of the box, Josephine, really have no idea. And that's why I believe your book is so important. And I thank you for writing it. Josephine, are you there?
Yes, we're breaking up. I think we're breaking up.
Okay. No, we're fine now. We're fine. No.
Okay.
I was just saying how happy I am that you wrote your book, because it's part of a mending process that society likes to ignore. It's a dirty little secret that people really don't want to talk about unless it touches them.
I was walking with this shame around for so many years. It tortured me. It tormented me because I could never speak to someone. The society failed me. My mother failed me. My dad wasn't around. Who can I talk to? Who can I tell? I had to walk around with this secret, looking daily in the faces of my two children, and walk around and feel, what did I do to deserve that? What was my wrong? What did I do? Did I do something wrong?
You see, you're saying it's my fault. What did I do that was wrong? Instead of, a child doesn't understand that they are a victim. They're victimized, just like anyone, just like an adult who's in an abusive situation, whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend, or whether it's husband and wife. There are so many people who are living in secrets and living with their secrets because they don't have anyone to talk to until it's too late.
Until it's too late. And, when, like I said, looking at my children now, seeing how they grow up, and knowing that there is so many children out there that is being abused, and I'm sitting with this secret. I need to come out the closet. I need to bring it into the public eye and say, listen, you are not the victim. You did not cause the problem.
That's right.
You are the victim.
Yeah.
And, I went as far as when I came out with the secret, I went to go report it to the police. My stepfather was locked up. He was put in prison for a while to attend court and it. And my two children, they came to me and they said, Mommy, please, that is our father.
Oh, God.
Please help him. Please don't let him go to prison. Don't let us visit our father behind bars, Mommy. And I looked at it and I just broke. And I thought, I'm trying to protect so many too at the same time. And I want to protect you guys. I'm not taking out any revenge. This man has done wrong, and the law is there for people like him. And when they begged me, I went to the public prosecutor, and I went and I said I need to withdraw this charge of my children. They couldn't concentrate in school. My one daughter, she dropped out. She became totally rebellious. I said, I can't do this to my children. I can't. And I withdraw the case, and she didn't want me to withdraw the case. And I said, for the sake of my children, I need to do this. And I withdrew the case, and he came out of prison thanking me. And I said to him, you know what? I didn't do it for you. I did it for them. And my secret, there's many people with the same secret, and I would encourage them so much. Come out. You can only do good by coming out with it. It's no use hanging on to the secret that is eating away at you. I came out with the secret. I thought it was going to change my mother's attitude. She was upset for a couple of weeks, but she's still with the man. I cannot change that, but I felt free when I came out of it. I felt free, and I could live my life. I could now start living my life. Because that was holding me back all these years.
Nelson Mandela is a true forgiver and someone who believes in reconciliation. How do you feel about Nelson Mandela and what he has done for South Africa?
Wow, what a man. Yeah, this man, he goes to prison for 27 years.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't go to prison for a crime that he committed. He went to prison just for freedom's sake.
Yeah.
He goes to prison for 27 years. He lives under the harshest conditions in the worst prison in South Africa. He comes out, he takes his first step of freedom after 27 years and shakes the hands of the very same people that put him there. I can just say I admire such a man. Not only did he close, break the barriers of oppression and apartheid in our country, he reconciled so many races together in our country. He opened so many doors for our sports and our soccer and our rugby. I can just honor that man for he's 93 years old and he's still going strong, still changing lives, still making a difference in our country. With that attitude of forgiveness and reconciliation, he has not only been an example to us as South Africans, but so to many around the world. He is a true biblical expression of a person who show us how to forgive people.
Josephine, stand by. I've got to take my final break here. Josephine Slabbert's our special guest, Exo Nation. She is the author of Is There Anybody Out There? A memoir of abuse and triumph. It's available Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com, AuthorHouse.com, and many other online bookstores. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
Stars that guide me towards salvation. I stopped.
You'd think that people would have had enough of silly love songs. But I look around me and I see it isn't so. Some people want to fill the world with silly love songs. And what's wrong with that? I'd like to know. 'Cause here I go again. I love you. I love you.
Josephine Slabbert is our special guest, Exo Nation, and I must tell you, it's been a very, very heartfelt hour discussing her life of abuse. She grew up in a house full of drug addicts, rapists, thieves, and pimps. She was raped multiple times, lived in constant fear, suffered physical abuse, and was forced to deal drugs. Then she made a decision that was going to change her life and the life of all of those around her, by telling her two daughters that the person they actually thought was their grandfather was in fact their father. Her daughters agreed that her story should be told. It has been told, and if there are people around the world who have stories that they'd like to share with you, how can they contact you, Josephine?
Well, they can contact me by email to read my story at rocketmail.com, or they can write to me at Josephine Slabbert, 8 Margaret Street, Tarkastad, 5370, South Africa. And I will be honored if they, I'll be really honored if they write to me or email me. It's so nice to hear other people's side of the story, and I will also be gladly respond to the emails or to the mail that they send to me. And I just want to reach out to as many as I can and just make a difference and change lives even if that book was just written for one person out in this world, it was worth it. I won't change a thing. It was worth it if it can help another person that has gone through the same thing like I've gone through. And I would just encourage the readers and encourage the listeners, do not be afraid. There is help out there. Never think that you're alone. There is help and people to help you and to encourage you. And you don't need to put your life on hold for someone else that has done you wrong. There is life. There is a life to live. And there's so many people that you can also reach out and help and be a witness to and encourage. And it has been a real pleasure being on the show. And I just pray and hope that so many listeners will just go out there, buy the book, and give it to a friend, give it to someone, and encourage them to come out with their stories. Nothing is so dirty that it can't be cleaned up.
Josephine, I've
believe.
just run out of time for tonight, but I do want to thank you so much. Exonation, the name of Josephine's book is There Anybody Out There? A Memoir of Abuse and Triumph. It's available online at all online book centers. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news as the X Zone continues with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.